Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy, Green Pastures Farm. Today's topic is hair sheep. I just wanted to give you a heads up. We're going to have a smaller flock. It's a sheep for sale. These are actually Florida native. They're also a parasite-resistant breed. And there's a guy that's decided he's overstocked a little bit and he wants to cut back on his numbers. And anyway, I'm going to try and help him sell them. And anyway, what they are, I actually sold him this flock. I forgot how many years ago it was, probably 7, 8 years ago. And he built it up to over 300 ewes. And anyway, he's down from those numbers today. But what he's done is he's kept the very best and basically sold the rest as meat animals and such. And the Florida native are very, 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 I don't know, they're just easy keeping sheep. You know, a whole lot like the St. Croix. You turn them loose, you move them. You want to move your sheep and give them, you know, some new places to eat and such. But as far as hay or any kind of fancy feed or grain, you just don't need to do any of that. And because they are hair sheep, you don't need to shear them. This flock has never ever been wormed, ever. So there's no worming. And when I saw them, they look pretty darn good. And there is also a ram in this flock. The ram has been allowed to run with the sheep. So when you bought them, of course, you would probably be having some lambs. Well, this is June, 1st of June. So you'd be having lambs possibly in November this year. But, you know, later on, if it was mine, I would probably hold the rams out until December 1st. That's what we do. And then we lay them on grass in May. When you have green grass, it's warmer outside. And it just seems like the lambs get off to a much better start. But, you know, back to the hair sheep. They are a meat animal. There's no shearing, no tail docking. We don't ever trim a hoof. And, you know, if you don't feed them grain, they won't grow a hoof, by the way. Basically no shots, no hay. You just move them in the winter. The sheep are unlike cattle. They have a foot that they can dig. And that's their grazing behavior. They'll dig the snow back. We had sheep actually dig back up to 20 inches of snow, and they did fine. They ate the grass, they moved forward, they dug the next circle of snow back, they ate that circle of grass, and they did a whole side of a hill that way. And they're just unbelievably tough. So if you want an animal that you can put on your farm and clean up brush, you know, I tell people our hair sheep are basically glorified goats. They eat a whole lot like a goat. They go after woody stuff, thorns, multifurous bushes, buckbrush in the wintertime. They can stay pretty good shape on dry oak leaves. Believe it or not. You know, I've always made the comment, you could put hair sheep on a farm that didn't have much out there and cattle would starve to death. Sheep make a living out there. They're a smaller animal. They're very efficient. And, you know, the ones that I saw in this flock, they're thick. They don't have a lot of leg on them. They all had clean tails. So that tells me they're parasite resistant. And the fact that, you know, he's overstocked, that the sheep might be eating a little bit closer to the ground than normal, it wasn't affecting them. The sheep are tame. They're used to hot wire. You know, you get you some of these and you'd be off and running. Anyway, if you're interested, go to our website, greenpasturesfarm.net, and I am going to have some information on there about this flock. We're looking at about 29 to 30 ewes and a ram. That's what we're going to be selling. And I'd like to sell it all as one, to get somebody off to a really nice start. And it's tough to find good seed stock today in sheep. You know, we have a year waiting list on St. Croix ewe lambs. We're sold out for this year. So they're pretty rare commodity. I think this would be a great opportunity for someone to start their own flock. of non-pampered sheep. You know, I get this all the time. People say, oh, I had sheep years ago, and, you know, we just sold them. They're just too much work. And I'm like, what? What do you mean they're too much work? They're the lowest work animal we have on our farm. We don't do anything to them except move them and give them a guard dog for protection. You know, a sheep can't outrun a coyote. They can't butt it. They can't bite it. They can't kick it. You got to give them protection. If you do that, you're good and you're off and running. And you know, one thing about a sheep, when you buy a sheep, that darn thing, the ewe lamb, when it turns 1 year of age, you've got one back from it. In other words, you can breed them at 7 months and they'll give you a baby lamb when they turn 1 year old. 1 year old. You can't do that with cattle. And you know, if a sheep lays down and dies on you for whatever reason, you haven't lost $2,000 or $3,000 like you do with one of these, you know, high-priced grass genetic heifers. So, to me, you're spreading your eggs out in a larger basket by going sheep. And a lot of small acreages, you know, you got 20, 30, 40 acres, you can run some sheep on there. Cows, people, I get this all the time. Well, Greg, I've got 10 acres. How many cows can I run? Well, it depends where you live. But if you live in mid-Missouri, you're probably talking maybe 2 or 3 cows. That's it. And you better rotate them. Sheep, you can run 5 ewes for every cow unit, so you can run 15 ewes. And they may be giving you twins after they get 2 years of age. You're going to have a lot more twins than your singles. So I'm glad I mentioned the twin part. The sheep have a huge advantage on cattle, building your numbers. With sheep, you're going to average twins a whole lot more than you will singles once they get of 2 years of age. And they'll stay in the herd up to 8, 10, 11, 12 years old, depending on how well you feed them. Feed them meaning forage, not grain. If you feed your sheep grain, folks, you're not going to make any money. You can't. So don't even start. Sheep are meant to graze, period. They're healthier, and if you'll match their lambing season with that spring flush of green grass, the lambs just explode in weight gain. And it's free weight gain. It's energy from the sun captured through the leaf. If this is the leaf of grass, we're putting that, building baby lambs with it. Or in this case, it might be multiple rose bushes or ragweed or ironweed. All these weedy things and viney stuff, the sheep eat it. And if you'll work with your sheep on rotating and getting them broke to one hot wire, that's what we've done. Now this flock is not broke to one hot wire, but it is, they know what hot wire fence is. It probably wouldn't take too much to go down to one wire and get them where they would stay behind it. Here's the key to one wire sheep. Don't let them get hungry. Plain and simple. But you got to start with 2 to 3 wires and then get rid of the sheep that don't stay in. Just get rid of them. And you'll be stuck with a core sheep, a core group of animals that are perfectly happy to stay behind that one wire of polybraid. And I'm telling you folks, when you got sheep you can control with one wire, it opens up all kinds of possibilities. You can run them on pastures where you don't have really good fence. Just put your piece of polybraid out there. They're going to stay in. That's because you're not going to let them get hungry. And the other thing about moving them onto land where you've never had sheep before, the best medicine to sheep, the best medicine you can give sheep is a fresh pasture that's never had sheep on it before. Okay? There's no parasites. So there's no way for them to load up on parasites because there's none there. And don't let your sheep graze your grass into the dirt. The parasites reside in that first 1 or so inches above ground level. They want to stay out of the sunlight. Well, if you've got your sheep pasture right down to 1 inch tall, they're going to be ingesting a ton of parasites. Okay? So part of that, not having any problem with worms, is part of that's your grazing management. Don't let them sit in one pasture all summer. Move them. Sheep form campsites. That's where they spend the night at. And if you leave them there for a month, they're going to have a great big old spot there where they poop all the time. And that's going to be where you're going to pick up parasites. So by constantly moving the animals, you're going to have a healthy sheep flock. It's going to certainly help. But anyway, I want to wind up on that. We're going to be selling a flock of hair sheep. These are Florida native ewes that have been, all the calls have been taken out. They've never been wormed. They've got clean tails. They broke the hot wire. Just a really low maintenance flock of sheep. So go to greenpasturesfarm.net to learn more. And also check out our website. We're gonna have hats available now. Green Pastures Farm hat with our logo on there. We've got red, green, black, several other colors. Anyway, just wanted to put that out there. And we're going to see a bunch of you at our grazing school in September. Schools, we got 2 of them. They're both sold out. I need to get off of here and put that on our website that they're sold out, so people don't keep signing up. Anyway, we're going to see some of y'all down the road on the way out. Hit that subscribe button and hit the like, and we'll see y'all down the road. Take care.